So the animals, it was mostly large dogs.
Was there a person living in the house?
No.
Just him?
There was nothing in the house. Just
okay.
And she would once a day go over and rip open a giant bag of dog food and throw it in there.
So you said, I don't even know this backstory, you said that you had a camera crew following you around in San Antonio to record your flips. Why? How did you even get, how did you get that linked up?
Okay, so I don't know, we just maybe every month we have an email come in from some casting person trying to cast for TV shows.
You get an email every month from people trying to cast a TV show.
Different shows.
And I do a video blog for 2 years, and I've yet to get an email.
I'll forward them to you. I'm sure
they probably just want people in San Antonio, Texas. Anyway, so they send you these emails, you responded to it?
You know, a lot of times they talk about the husband and wife thing.
Okay, so they like that. Okay.
I think that's the big thing.
Okay, that's the story that Hollywood likes.
Because that's what's out there right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah.
That's true, that's what's out there.
So you want you guys to fight too. Hopefully you guys are near divorce.
Yeah, are you guys like on the
that's ideal.
Bankruptcy, like you guys are close,
well, that's
right?
the problem. They wanted all the drama. They wanted to try to figure out something, and it was really, really kind of trying to do. Anyway, yeah, we responded to one of them and said, okay, well, let's, you know, you can, because they had actually said that we even have a crew like that's going to be there on such and such date, instead of being just an open-ended sort of like casting call thing. And so we said, okay, well, we'll try it just for the fun, just to say we even did it, you know? Even though we were really nervous about it, because I don't like being on camera too much, you know, but, and my wife is more so than I thought she was, but, you know, where she doesn't like that so much either.
Oh, you thought she'd ham it up and she really went in her show.
Yeah, but no, we did pretty good, you know, so we were at the house and they filmed the family and everything.
All the kids and stuff.
Which was fun for them, you know, the kids, you know, like, oh wow, we're camera crew in here filming us and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went to some properties. We went to a rehab that we had finished, another one that we had bought that was awaiting rehab, and then another one we were in the process of fixing up. And so, and what I was telling you with the story was, you know, they wanted excitement, they wanted drama, and it's hard for me to just come up with things. You know, maybe I should plan it a little bit better and had something happen, but you know, it's like we were at the one where we were waiting to rehab, and a neighbor was angry about junk in the yard that hadn't been cleaned up yet and was coming over, knocking on the door. And I'm trying to diffuse the situation and be friendly because, hey, we're fixing the house, I'm going to be selling it. We don't need an enemy next door. And, you know, and the crew's all rushing up, you know, and they've got the cameras in our faces and kind of wanting us to escalate the argument. And, you know, which I wasn't arguing, but, you know, they wanted me to.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, this isn't me. This isn't what I want to do.
So did they ever produce that, put it out? Was it ever? Okay, it didn't go anywhere.
I didn't go anywhere. No.
Hilarious. Was it like HGTV? Who was it?
You know, I don't even remember. Okay, so interesting deals. Like we've had several, obviously. I'm sure you've had your share. I've heard about some of them today. Were pretty incredible. But there was one where this lady, bless her heart too, she had a good heart. She wanted to save animals. And so she would get stray cats and dogs, and she had this house that she had inherited, and she would just put them in there. And then, so the animals, it was mostly large dogs.
Was there a person living in the house?
No.
Just him?
There was nothing in the house. Just
okay.
And she would once a day go over and rip open a giant bag of dog food and throw it in there. You know, so this must have been going on for like a year or more, maybe.
Whoa!
The house was it was crazy. I mean, it was ripped apart, and it smelled so you know, it was horrible. The smell was absolutely unbearable, and you know, because it was a pier and beam foundation too, and all the wood and everything, wood floors, it was just all soaked up, joist, everything.
Urine, just soaked.
So needless to say, I had to buy it cheap, and I think I bought it for $8,000. Yeah. But I told her, you know, I want to buy this house, but I'm having trouble because the next door neighbor's house is a wreck as well. And if I fix this up and sell it, I'm going to have trouble because the neighbor's house is, and it looks vacant. You know, would you mind helping me find the owner? Which I don't know what made me think to do that, but she did. And I called them and I bought both houses.
So wow.
She
bought both
had
of them.
found the number for the person that lived in the other house and got it to me, and I ended up buying that one too. And then what I did was I wholesaled both of them to the same investor, because I didn't want to deal with that house with the smell.
How much do you remember how, the numbers?
I think I bought one for, I think it was 8,000. The other one I think I bought for like 12,000, and then I sold. I think it was for 40,000. Was
Each?
the two houses.
Oh, 2 houses, 20.
So it was
total.
like 20 profit.
Yeah, that's 20 grand profit. There you go. I like it.
It was like one of those things too, where achievement wise, like I want 2 houses next to each other.
Oh yeah, that's
Not from the
awesome.
same person either. Like how many times has that been?
Isn't that interesting? That there's like this little like achievement marks in the real estate investor's career that you want. One of them is that like 2 houses or like a house on the street. The other one is buying the same house again. So buying it on the foreclosure, fixing it up, selling it, it recycles, and you buy it again.
That's the funny thing with my dad. He lives in a smaller town. And when we drive through there, sometimes he would say, I bought that one 4 times.
Are you serious?
Twice. Yeah, it's crazy.
That's a small town for you. That's really cool. So I have a really good friend of mine who does large volume of flipping here in Utah. When we first met, we made the connection that we both flipped the same house. So I flipped it, it came through again, he picked it up, flipped it. So we both relate like 509 East 3rd Street. Like, yes, I flipped that. He's like, I flipped that. And he's like, did you? And he was like mad at me because I flipped it first. He's like, dude, did you leave that whatever in the basement? I'm like, yeah, I left that. He's just like, oh, I had to fix that. It was a bonding moment for us. Fast forward to today, or the last year that you were like really, I know you're still actively doing it, but what did your best year look like?
We did 30 something, I don't even have an exact number. It was either like 35 or 37 flips, rehab flips, maybe been a couple wholesales in there. And that was just us two running the whole business, my wife and myself. What we would do is we would market a lot, we would get deals come in, we'd start rehabbing them. I wouldn't have the time to focus on marketing, and then so that would fall back a little bit, and we wouldn't get as many leads in. Which didn't matter because I was focused on trying to get those houses fixed up and sold. And we'd repeat the process. But you can only do so many when you work like that.
Interesting, because you guys are very successful being solo business owners, basically. To do 35, 37 flips in a year is amazing. And that's the story that almost every flipper has, every residential real estate investor. They do everything. They wear every hat. They're small. They just but the epiphany that people have had over the last few years, seeing people with bigger businesses able to work on the business, because I think it hasn't been in people's circle possible. It hasn't even seemed possible to people. Real estate business can be like a business. It seems like it's just like a cottage business, right? It's like you do it everything, right?
Just recently, even last like 4 months, 3 months, I've realized what was wrong in some of those beliefs and that thinking. And saying that if we build a business to where we have people doing those other special tasks and things, they can really run the business without us having to be there in the business.
Yeah.
And that will give you true freedom.
And that's a missing link for a lot of people that are, especially in the real estate space and anything in life, but they just don't take action. Maybe they're not passionate about it. Maybe they don't really want it.
Well, it's getting out of the comfort zone problem.
That's true.
It's comfortable. It's easier to sit and learn and watch videos, and you should. I still do. I'm learning a lot from you today, and but taking those smaller steps and getting out there and doing those things that are uncomfortable because you have to. Like if you want to do it, you just kind of have to do it. And the good thing is, it doesn't take long to become comfortable in doing those things. I was scared to death to sign the first contract or even talk to a seller. But it was amazing how it became to where even though I was somewhat introverted, like going and talking to sellers, I don't know what happened. It was like I was very comfortable, like quickly with doing that.
So you were uncomfortable with it. That was like your limits. You pushed the limits, and now your new level of comfort is like out here. Right. So now you're comfortable with where you're at now. But
well, yeah, and it started with I'm gonna. Even though I'm scared about doing it, I'm going to put some marketing out. I'm going to put bandit signs up that have my phone number on it. And I'm scared to death somebody's going to call me. But I'm going to just focus on the fact that I'm putting the signs up. I'll deal with whatever, whenever it happens. Well, the first call that comes from a number that's not me, I don't know if you've heard the story or not, because I like to tell it, but the first call that came from a number that I didn't know, I froze, and my wife was standing, and I threw it to her, said, you answer.
You really threw your wife the phone?
Threw the phone to her. She took the call and she asked a couple random questions, I think. You know, it's like we hadn't even thought through exactly what to ask her, or somewhere we forgot or something. Froze at the moment. And I think we ended up having to call them back after she had talked to them and said, wait a minute, you didn't ask them like what the address was or something. You know, and then we called them back, you know, and after that one, no, I took the calls after that. But, you know, and then it wasn't so bad after so many calls. And then you really do quickly learn exactly what you should be asking, you know, because of that. You know, I remembered how embarrassing it was to have to call them back, you know, so I never forgot to ask those things again.
Yeah. So you learned it by just experience. You just you said you're going to do it. You took the actions, put up signs, and just took action and failed through it, right?
Right. And then you get the call, and then, you know, you set an appointment or something to see a house where you're scared about that, but then you're thinking, well, I just spent all that money getting the bandit signs, took the time to put the bandit signs out, got a call. Like, I've got to do this. You know, otherwise, so you build the momentum too, and it makes it easier.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the first deal, everything is.
Yeah, it's all
goes crazy after that. You know, after you get that first deal and make that first check, and then, wow, it gets so much easier after that, right?
That's really important, huh? Because you can't teach someone their first deal, really. You can give them all the stuff leading up to it, but them going through that experience, they're going to learn a ton, and they're going to have the faith that not only works for me, as it works for me. This works for me. That experience of like, it works. Yeah. Interesting.
And the big check in your bank account doesn't hurt either. You know, it's.
And the good thing when you're starting, any check is big. Right. You're like $1,000. Yeah!
Well, especially when you realize that you were trying, you know, to get a deal by only spending a couple $1,000s, and now all of a sudden you've got $10,000 or $20,000 on the bank, and that can all go towards marketing, hopefully.
You can go do it again. Mm-hmm. Well, if you have that mindset, some people are going to blow it, and like the mindset of like successful people probably take that and parlay that. Let's make that something else. So I want to know, if there's a brand new investor, what are you going to tell them? Like, let's say your son's old enough now that he is like 19, 20 years old. He knows nothing about real estate. He's just like, Dad, I want to do real estate. I want to do this. This is my passion. What are you going to tell your son?
I would tell him to tell me why exactly he wants to do it. What's the reason behind it? I think if he's not clear on that, I don't think it's going to be something that's going to last very long. The interest is going to fade as soon as he has to get out of his comfort zone and do some hard work. You know, hopefully I'll taught him the value of hard work, but, you know, if he gets into the difficult stages of it that everybody, you know, goes through, if the reason why they're doing it's not strong enough to push them through that, you know, you're starting from a weak position.
That's a great starting point. Okay, if he comes to you, say he satisfies you, he says, Dad, here's the answer, and you go, okay, you want this. This is going to be a burning desire for you. Then what?
I would tell him to get educated, obviously. And then once he's educated enough about, I guess I would have him not even just get educated on everything, because too many people focus on things that are way down the line that might not ever happen. I would tell him to focus on getting educated on finding good deals. So, you know, motivated sell marketing or doing some marketing, and then come back with a plan of what he's going to do. We got off the phone, and I think I text you like an hour later saying, hey, I'm looking at flights for Wednesday. Is that cool?
Yeah. And I was like, yep. Why would you do that?
Well, just because I've been seeing what you've been doing in your business. And, you know, this year we've been focused on doing a lot of software stuff. We still do flipping, my wife and I. But I wanted to expand my business, and I wanted to work more on it instead of in it. Because I know a lot of those principles, but I haven't been living them. I haven't been doing those things. And I've seen over the last year, I've seen things from Justin, you know, where you guys have talked. And I see what you're doing. I say, wow, this guy's doing exactly what I want to do with my business. And so I can talk to him on the phone, I can email you. And I'd never talked to you before, and so you calling me out of the blue was sort of a, you know, surprise, because I actually had thought about reaching out to you. And so the fact that you called me was a real surprise to me. And I was like, wow, this is sort of a sign. Like, I need to take action with this. And so when you invited me to come out, it wasn't a tough decision at all.
I told Jason that. Remember when I told you this, Jason? I was just like, this is an interesting story because nobody does that.
Yeah.
Nobody does what you did.
Yeah.
You live in Texas. I'm in Utah. Texas. And you jumped on a plane, like you booked the flight that next day and jumped on a plane less than a week later.
Yeah.
You're here. You're busy. You're running multiple businesses. You've got a wife and 5 kids. And to do that shows something. It shows passion, intent, focus, action orientation. So I think that's the intangible that maybe you haven't been able to say that, but I think that's something about you that that's probably one of your unique things. Is you're when you're going to go do something, you're going to go do it. You're going to jump in and do it.
I'll take it.
That's my ride. Who's the baller now? Look at that.
But that's what it is, right? I think, and anyone in life that's got that passion, that's willing to I'm going to do what it takes, I'm going to take action, I'm going to make it happen in my life, the world moves out of the way for that person, right? So I think that's what it is, and I'm super impressed by the fact that I think that's awesome. And there's this old, I don't know what it is, it's like a story kind of, it's called The Line. I've got it somewhere. But basically the idea of the story is there's this guy and he's a young man, he goes and sees this line, he sees these people getting in line and he says, what's going on? And the people are like, oh, just get in line, you gotta get in line. And they start getting in line. He's like, well, where's this going? They're like, oh, you just gotta get in line. And then he doesn't get in line and he sees 3 more people get in line and 4 and he's just getting overwhelmed. And it's like, what's going on there? You gotta get in line. See, look, you already missed there's people, you could have gotten in line where he is, but you're not getting in line. So he's frustrated with this, he doesn't know, and he thinks, I'm never gonna make anything. So he starts walking. As he walks up the line, he notices the people in the line, they were young at the end of the line. As he walks up the line, these people are getting older and older and older. When he gets to the front of the line, there's people, these old guys hunched over with big beards and canes and at the front of this line. And the line goes to a gate that's in front of a house. And he's there and he says, what's going on there? Like, oh, this is the success. This is where you want to be in this house. And he's like, well, I can't go get in the line. I see what's happening in the front. I can't do it. So he walks around, kind of goes to the back of the house, and he notices the gate in the back of the house is open. So he walks to the gate in the back of the house, and the back door is open, and he walks in and says, hey, he comes into this house, and there's some people, successful people in there, and he's like, hey, and they're like, hey, come on in. He's like, well, but there's this whole line there. I should get in line. Nah, they'll wait. And the moral of that story is, right, everyone else is getting in line. They don't quite know what they're getting in line for. But I think the world moves over, and success comes to the people that are willing to grab it, do it, take action on it right now.